Marauders issue 14 finds Wolverine awaiting Saturnine party to begin, with the only thing he finds tolerable about the place being the alcohol, which will help him with the business he has to do tonight at the dinner party. Later at the party, the mutants of Krakoa and Arakko gather together to talk, with Death meeting with Storm. War doesn't want to associate with the mutants, smelling the fear on them, but Storm says that maybe she smells something else, angering War. Death says that his sister is wrong, the mutants don't fear them. War wants him to ask that question after tomorrow if Storm still is alive. Storm takes the flower from her drink, putting it between Death's ears, knowing that she thought War would be more artful than she is being, but Death is going to be a problem for her. As she leaves to find Wolverine, Cypher tries to introduce himself to Bay of the Blood Moon, but they aren't interested in making friends. Storm meanwhile knows that Wolverine is thinking of doing something and she won't talk him out of it, telling him not to miss. Saturnine's birds soon call the group into the hall, with the priests offering them all cards as Pog barges his way past them. Magik takes a card, not understanding what's on it, but learns from the priest that they are assigned seating in the hall as Pog makes sure he's first in the door. The X-Men enter, finding a giant cup-shaped table as Saturnine welcomes them into the Hall of the Fallen Banners, reminding the mutants and Arakko that the rules of the parley must be observed and no one shall fight until tomorrow when the contest takes place across the other world. She introduces her court to the gathered sword bearers, but Famine wants to be done with the introductions, not wanting to stay for longer than needed. Saturnine agrees, knowing tomorrow blood will be shed, but tonight is for appreciating the finer things in life. Wolverine continues to pound the liquor, making fun of Brian, who isn't drinking. Brian says that Mortal Kombat is on the horizon and if Logan has something to say, he should say it. Logan says that if he were in Braddock's position and had a favor of the woman in charge, he would take one for the team and give the lady what she wants. Brian reminds Logan that he is married, and Betsy says that some of them like to take those vows seriously, and Logan is being quite the bore, wanting him to piss off. Logan says that he was once married and it's tricky business, but he knows who isn't married, pointing out Cypher and Magik and Cable, all who have yet to make that mistake. Logan says that they will be fighting to the death, and he doesn't think he will watch, but he'll be watching the guy that could have stopped it, poking Brian in the chest. Logan gives his goblet to a servant, knowing that Saturnine would stop this if she had what she wanted. Magik meanwhile talks with Gorgon about the enemy, trying to find weaknesses in them. They soon learn much about the others, but they don't know much about Iska, so Gorgon decides to go and ask her. The two mutants join her, but the woman doesn't care for them, not wanting to listen to their whining about the sword fights being unfair. Gorgon says that he's never been in a fair fight since they all have to face him, making Iska realize that he's not like the others, knowing that he could easily take on 10 swords of his own, thinking it a shame that Krakoa doesn't have more like him. Magik says that they have her as the two toast Iska and the battle. It's a ploy, however, as both drop their wine glasses, and on instinct, Iska grabs them both, allowing the mutants to learn that she is ambidextrous. Iska says that it's their turn, dropping the glasses again as Magik grabs them with her portals, teleporting them above both her and Gorgon and allowing her to grab them, not spilling a drop. Iska knows that this is going to be fun, but Magik and Gorgon still don't know her soft spot, and Gorgon just wants to kill as many as they can, since once they face Iska, it's bound to break them. Storm meanwhile learns that Death is creeping on her. Knowing what he wants, Storm asks for Death's hand in a dance, leading him to the whirlpool in the center of the dance floor, telling the being that she doesn't fear him. Death asks if she desires him then, and as Storm dances with Death, she says that she admires him. The being knows that the other swordbearers she's with have tasted Death many times, but not Storm. Aurora says he's wrong since she knows Death, having danced with him her entire life, first as a girl living in the streets and later as the leader of the X-Men, a role which taught her how to sway Death. Finishing their dance, Storm says that she neither fears nor desires him, but she knows him and this is as close as she will allow Death to get. Saturnine calls for them all to take their seats as dinner is served. The lady says that whatever may befall them tomorrow, tonight they will dine like royalty. Logan takes his seat near the head of the table and Saturnine knows something is wrong, knowing that there is no reason that he should hold his tongue here. War asks what disturbs the man as she discreetly puts something in his food. Logan says that it doesn't have to be like this and Saturnine doesn't need to create so much collateral damage. The lady doesn't expect Wolverine to understand the reasons for many of the coming changes, but Logan becomes frustrated, demanding she just say what she means and stop speaking in riddles. Again, Saturnine says great change is coming, so having enough of it, Logan pops his claws, stabbing and killing Saturnine Saturn IX. Marauders issue 14 was a great issue after the retread that was this week's X-Men installment of the X of Swords, finally allowing the two swordbearer groups to join together and talk with one another. I enjoyed Magik and Gorgon trying to learn as much as they can about the enemy and learn their weaknesses, finding it a little harder than they thought. Again, the comics continue to play with this cool new thing that the Krakoan mutants have, which is this arrogance with them thinking that they are better than literally everyone else, and that's on full display here, thinking that they could easily best any of these people without realizing that they're a little bit more harder than they thought. Storm's literal dance with death was a little bit on the nose, but I enjoyed it and the rather romantic nature of it. I'm looking forward to seeing if those two end up fighting one another, and I have a feeling they might. Wolverine's big cliffhanger was interesting, and I wonder what that means for the contest and for the X-Men's role in it all. I'm going to give this issue an 8.5 out of 10.